What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be doing a review of this Rival Boxing Bob and Weave heavy bag attachment. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up, guys? Carlo here, and today I'm going to be doing a review of this Rival Boxing Bob and Weave heavy bag attachment. Now, this is a heavy bag attachment that you can add to your cylindrical type of heavy bag that basically gives you a defensive, or should I say, gives you an extra element to your heavy bag training that you otherwise might not have, to where it allows you to bob and weave, slip, and basically simulate someone's arm or punches that are coming at you. Now, you may have seen this in the gym. I know Untitled Boxing makes one that's very similar to this. You see guys that use pool noodles, those foam noodles that they use for mitt work as well, that they might duct tape to the heavy bag, or they stick in between the straps or the chains up here, and that all works perfectly fine. This is basically this Rival's iteration. The good thing about this is that you can pretty much remove this. You don't have to worry about taping or kind of jerry-rigging a piece of equipment, or you might be at your gym where they don't allow you to sit there and modify their bag. So you might be able to just bring this with you, carry it with you in your car, bring it with you if you want to work on a little bit of defensive movement. Now, the actual bob and weave you can see here is pretty much in the standard classic Rival colors of black, white with orange. The dimensions of it is about 28 inches in length as far as this arm goes right here. So you do have that 28 inches in length, which is definitely a good amount of length for anybody to really use to get your head underneath it. You also have this polyurethane outside material. So it is not a leather material. It's actually PU, which is polyurethane. The inside uses PVC with a foam. So you can see it does have kind of a firm density to it. It's on the softer side, but it definitely has some firmness to the bar. So if you do hit your head on this or whatnot, it's not going to do any damage. It'll let you know that that it's there, but you're not going to feel really much of an impact from this actual bar because, again, it's just more or less for you to move your head. At the very end where it connects to the base, you do have this little Velcro piece that goes around. You can actually see the kind of foam that's on the inside of here. And then you have this base plate. Now, this base plate is kind of concave right here, and the reason obviously for that is so that it kind of fits snug up against the heavy bag that you're using. Dimensions wise, this is about 12 inches wide, about 10 inches, so about 12 by 10, so 10 inches in height and 12 inches in width. You can see the actual nylon straps that kind of go through here, which are 72 inches per strap, and that is made of pretty heavy duty nylon, which is about 3 inches in width. So about 3 inches by 72 inches for these nylon straps, which has the Rival logo that's printed on there. The actual material right here as well is coated with the same style of foam that the arm is made out of right here, which is about, I'd say, almost 3/4 of an inch. And then you can actually see the backside of the base plate where it actually mounts to, and this is what's going to go against the bag. And then you have the strap holders. Again, this has about 3/4 of an inch with the Velcro, and this is what covers the strap once you have everything tightened down, with the 2 D-ring buckles right here, which is where the nylon straps go through to secure everything. And it's padded. It says B&W for bob and weave, and there is 2 of them. So you can see pretty much how this all attaches. Now, as far as the type of bags you can use with this, I have my standard Everlast 100-pound heavy bag here. It works perfectly fine with this. The good thing about having these longer straps is that you can use it for different dimensions as far as the diameter of the heavy bag. So if you have a heavy bag that's like 150 pounds, 200 pounds, it's wider or it has a bigger circumference, this still will work because you still have these long enough straps that will wrap around the bag. The only bag I had an issue with it working on was the Aqua bag. Now I have that polyform Aqua bag that I did a review on. I tried to use this bob and weave on the Aqua bag, and because of how it's shaped, kind of like a bulb, this actually did not work. It didn't hold, and because of the shape of it, it was more rounded off. I ended up noticing that the actual arm on this would tilt and do a little bit of this kind of motion, and eventually it would just kind of fall off. So just keep that in mind. If you do have an Aqua bag, it probably won't work. Unless the Aqua bag is cylindrical, then you'll be able to use it for that. So let's go ahead and attach this to the heavy bag to show you guys how this attaches and pretty much how this thing works. All right guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and walk you guys through how I'm gonna attach this to the heavy bag. You have a standard size heavy bag right here. So it's pretty simple. You just kind of butt it up against the heavy bag. I'll kind of give you guys a side view of it right here. The nylon strap wraps around. You can actually see right here, these are the buckles that hold everything in place. And it wraps around, and you just basically place it through the metal rings, these metal D-rings. There's two metal rings. So one is actually for pulling it in, and then you want to slip it through to the other side, which is what's going to actually lock it in place. So once you have it over those two rings, or should I say inside the two rings, you want to slip it right over, and then it goes over. So basically the nylon strap is trapped in between these two buckles, and as you tighten it down, obviously that's what's going to give it the tension that you're looking for. So obviously you want to adjust the height where you need it to be at. For me, I put it right at about nose length. You could do it a little bit lower, just depending on if you want to bend at your knees a little bit more to get yourself a little bit more of a workout for your legs. But if you're looking at it just from a technical standpoint, obviously you want it to aim right at your nose, because that's essentially where the arm is going to be punching at when your opponent, or you're sparring or you're fighting. So that's where you really want it to be at. So that's where I attached the first buckle. Then I'm going to go ahead and attach the second buckle before I kind of finish everything off. And you can see again here's the second strap. Again, I'm going to go inside the two rings. Tighten that down. Slip it over. And tighten it up. So that's nice and tight. That's not going to go anywhere. It's secure on the bag, nice and tight. And basically what I do from there is I just roll over the excess nylon, and then from here you just have this Velcro cover that covers it. So it's really nice and clean. It's a very easy setup that you can do. It doesn't leave any marks on your bag, doesn't leave any dents. It doesn't destroy the actual finish or the leather of your heavy bag. So the great thing about this is that it's pretty protective in terms of taking care of your heavy bag. You're not going to get any dents or holes or any extra damage on your heavy bag when you use it. So now that I have it nose length, it's pretty much the proper height. One thing to keep in mind, which I need to do for my own personal heavy bag, is add a swivel to the heavy bag. And the reason I say that is with this, you want it to be able to kind of rotate around as you work the heavy bag. So as you're hitting this bag will kind of start to move and rotate. Because I don't have a swivel on my heavy bag, this arm will stay pretty much in the same kind of 45-degree angle, and it'll never go past that because I don't have a swivel up top there to let it rotate around. So because of that, I'm always going to be kind of in the same area when I'm doing the bob and weave movement with this, because I might hit it, it might rotate that way, and then you can see it starts to make its way back. And same thing with over here. If I start working it, it's going to start kind of rotating around, and give it a couple seconds, and eventually it'll start making its way back and rotate back this way. So keep that in mind. It's really good to have a swivel. Obviously you don't have to have one, but it's going to help with the actual arm being a little bit more erratic and random in where it sticks. So just keep that in mind if you do get this bob and weave. And the other thing when you're using this, which is great, you're using this for your head movement, is that now your jabs, if you're punching it, you're gonna have to hit these nylon straps unless you hit lower. So the only other issue I saw with this is that as it rotates around, you obviously don't want to punch on these pads. I mean, you can, but you might mess up, tweak your wrist just because it's going to be off angle. It's not flush. It's padded, so if you do hit these, it's okay. But if you're hitting it, you're going to end up hitting these nylon straps. Again, it's not a big deal, but it's not like you're going to be hitting the bag surface. So just keep that in mind, that you're going to have basically this section right here that's going to be occupied by the straps, or obviously by this arm right here. So you're kind of a little bit more adjusted to where you're only throwing more or less lower body shots with this rather than going up high. Again, you still can, but this whole apparatus is kind of blocking off this section of the bag. But outside of that, it works fantastic. You know, the great thing about this bob and weave is that a lot of times when you're doing heavy bag work, you know, you're working the bag, and I kind of get into that same routine too, where you kind of get into the same punches over and over, and you kind of throw it at the same rate. You might not be moving your head off the center line, so you're not working on your defensive movement because there's nothing that's hitting back at you. You're just going through the motions. You might step over, go to the body, jab, go to the right hand, just kind of going through the motions. You might slip. You might roll underneath the shot, but there's nothing there that's actually telling you like, hey, move your head, get out of the way, step over, bob underneath, slip, slip. So that's the good thing about having an actual physical arm right here, is that it forces you to move your head. So as you're going around, you know this is coming, and then you can go underneath it, keeping your hands up, and basically keeping those good fundamentals. The other good thing is it teaches you how to throw your hooks at a better angle. So a lot of times beginners will throw hooks and they're just standing straight in the line of fire as they throw the hooks. They don't slip over to get their hand out of that line of sight to throw the hooks to the body. So the perfect thing about this is that now you're able to get your head off the center line, and then boom, throw the hook underneath, rotate back out, boom, go underneath. You know, so that's a good thing. Go to the liver, bam, come underneath, solar plexus, up top, boom, step out, boom, boom. You could launch your attack, slip out. You could do that. You could roll underneath, then pivot out, then boom, boom, work that. So again, a great apparatus for working that. This bob and weave costs $59.95, so about $60 plus shipping, which I think is like 13 to 15 bucks, just depending on where you're located. Again, I think it's a really nice build, great product. You could tell that they didn't rush to make something like this. They didn't just put a couple of, a pull noodle together with some strings and throw it on a bag. They actually used some quality materials to put this bob and weave together. I've been using it quite a bit for my training here at home. Once the gym reopens, I'm probably gonna take this with me to the gym. Certain days where I really wanna work my head movement, I'll hook it onto the heavy bag and work my head movement. So a great tool to have, especially if you don't have somebody there to work the mitts or to do any kind of work with you for defensive movement. This will be something that you can use whether you're at home or not, even at the gym. So excellent tool for sure. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below. I'll put the link in the description box, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.